results you wanted. What was your message to the team this week in terms of keeping the dominance moving forward heading into the game this weekend?
Well, the nice thing is we're playing well, especially in the attack. Last two games, two of our best attacking performances of the year. Obviously, you saw the stats. Stats don't always tell the story, but looking back on the game, that was an extremely dominant game, especially from the attacking end. Anytime you get 32 shots, you got to be a really good team. I don't think there's been a team that's gotten more shots since, I think it was 1998. So it's a good performance. Obviously, 12 shots on goal defensively isn't like we're getting run out either on the defensive side. So from an organizational standpoint, you don't feel like there are major things to fix. But the disappointment is you give up 4 shots on goal and 3 of them are goals. So on the 3 goals, those situations needed to be managed better. So that's the main thing, is to correct those little mistakes, which became major mistakes, critical mistakes in the game, which cost us a result. Other than that, the last 2 games were very good performances.
Do you look at the next 2 games as particularly important, given where the 2 teams are in the standings around you?
Yeah, it's a big couple weeks because we have 2 league games, and then we have 2 Champions League games. And obviously the league games, they're going to determine whether or not, the next 7. But these 2 are massive because you have Vancouver and Colorado, 2 of the teams underneath you. How we do in those games are going to determine where we're at the end of the year. There's no bigger game than Colorado on the road, but we do need to look a little bit ahead and to be prepared for the Champions League games as well, because it's going to be 4 games in a tight window and quick turnarounds, Saturday, Tuesday. So we have to kind of have a plan for the 4 games really, but right now we're looking at the 2 games, Saturday, Tuesday. But we have to think about, obviously, the Vancouver game as well, that game around the corner. So it's going to be a big couple weeks for the league and for our standing in the Champions League. We're going to need to continue to use our depth. That's going to be important. And we're going to need guys, whoever's name we call, we're going to need guys to step up and perform, because we're going to be counting on quite a few players over the next several weeks.
When you look at, I know you always focus on yourselves, but what do you make of where Colorado is right now? They're in a real bad stretch, coming off a bad loss. So what does that make you think as a coach when you deal with a team like that, playing with the performance they've had as of late?
Yeah, they've been on a tough run. I think it's 7 or 8 games.
7. They've
lost 7. But you can't read into that too much. They're going to be fighting for their lives. Obviously, it's a home game. They're going to be under a lot of pressure, like everybody is at this stage. Everybody needs results, especially the teams that are on the bubble of the playoff picture, which we are. But we're 5 points ahead of them, and it's a home game, and they're going to want to win the game to obviously narrow that gap. Because if we win, obviously it's 8 points now. So it's kind of similar to when we played Vancouver last week, where they're a little bit ahead of us, and we can't let them get too far ahead of us by losing the game. So I think it's very similar. We have a lot of those games in the next 7. We're playing teams that are right around us, where it's a 6-point swing. So I'm not really thinking too much about them losing the last 7 games. I'm mostly thinking about the fact that they're going to definitely be up for it, and it's a home game, and they're going to be fighting for their lives.
Coach, when you look at the defense